you come and let's raise this together now. Watch this. You just watch. I want to lift this. I've been coming to God's presence. I've been coming again and again. And suddenly I've received strength. You without your hands now. I was to lift this and I tried. It seemed as though I was about to lift it, but I could not do it. But suddenly, as I kept coming, God put another grace and a man joined me. This man was not there. Then I tried to lift it. We tried. It was as though we tried. But look at it here. But now, after coming again and again, our strength may be failing. Another man joins up, and now we take it higher. This is how grace is happening in the spirit. So you see a man today, he preached the word, and you were blessed, and you were like, what kind of man is this? The next time he comes to me, as he comes before the podium, he opens his mouth and says, in the name of Jesus, I speak to every spirit. Then you begin to hear people cry out. It's because another thing has supported him. He's not the only one that is walking. The Lord walking with them, confirming their words with signs following. The Lord walking with them. The Lord walking with them. A product of his presence. The Lord walking with them. Working with them. You come into a partnership that makes God committed to working with you. You come into a partnership that makes heaven committed to obeying your words. And the Bible says a man called Samuel, he will speak a word. His word were like order and law in the realm of the spirit, for none of his words fall to the ground. That kind of man is conscious and cautious of what he says, because he knows if he says it, it will happen. God can be that committed to a man. But what happened? You will have to go back to 1 Samuel chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Find out Samuel's heart for God. Find out how he used to sleep by the ark of testament. When even the high priest himself will go to the bed, he will sleep. He will sleep next to the ark. He will sleep next to the ark. He will sleep next to the ark. When he wake up, he will open the doors of the temple. When last did you sleep under God's presence? How come demons are pursuing you in the night? It's because you were outside the presence. When last did you do a powerful 1 hour worship before you sleep? Then put the worship to continue to play while you sleep. A culture of the presence. When last did you spend time to study the word and put the tape? Let the scripture keep repeating itself while you sleep. Samuel did not just become that man of ranking. Something happened. From a child, he continued staying in God's presence, the holy place. He will lie there until one day the presence, he had become so used to the presence that God had to call him by name, Samuel. But because that was a new dimension he has not seen before. This must be Eli calling me. I told you platform. The voice sounded like Eli's voice. God was utilizing the law of platform to speak to him. Samuel, he ran to Eli and said, you called me. He said, I didn't call you. Go back to bed. He went back and had the name again, Samuel, thinking it was the voice of Eli. Ran to Eli. Then Eli perceived this must be God. It's time. The timing for this guy has reached. It has reached the time for God to now begin to talk to him. So when you go back, tell him to speak, you listen. And when he went back to that presence, he had things that even his mouth was not able to tell Eli. Eli called him and said, what did God tell you? He said, my mouth is too heavy to say the kind of things my ear heard. Your destiny still looks weak because you've not heard that voice. If you hear that voice, you will be too sure, in spite of every odd, in spite of everything that looks like wickedness, looks like negativity around you, you will be so sure that I heard God. see, this man standing here before you is not a foolish man. I knew what it is, and I knew what it would take to buy my way to the place of authority. If I stayed long where God had brought me by his mercy and decide to just say, I won't be here. I won't even be in the shores of this nation. God is a witness. I won't. But I was also foolish enough to know that there is only one security you can have. A security that makes for destiny fulfillment is only back in his presence. So when in 2018 he said, Israel, Proverbs chapter 18 verse 1, a man having separated himself intermingled. I said, Lord, how do we do this? How do I separate myself from this job now? How do I separate myself and go back to the retreat you are calling me? I went to my mom. I said, Mommy, I sense God is calling me to separate myself. My mom said, how would you do it? How would you be able to manage it? You are just new. You are young in the place of work. God has brought you to this kind of place and you want to resign? That's why I love that woman. He said, I will pray for you, but please, it's a hard decision to take. How will you take that decision? You want to leave job to follow this? Nobody understood me. Nobody, including my father. As at that time, my father saw as though I wasn't ready to do the things that I should have done. I'm grateful today God has brought him into a full understanding and he's a strong support. But if it was God that speaks, sometimes it will be heavy for you to speak and even heavy for the ears that listen.